decisions that will be according to what's best for our town. Thankful for what you're going to do. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Call the roll.
Kelly? Yes. Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Jeff?
Yeah.
Lee? And George?
Yeah. For everybody, if they
Can stand, if not, let's pledge allegiance.
I think Nicole just messaged us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ask her.
First point of order here, let's go over the minutes.
Ask her to make sure that it can be heard.
make a motion to accept the minutes.
A second.
I've got one question in the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The window for the ballroom, Component Community, it's 200, I thought we had decided to make it 125 across the board, or, misunderstanding this. So I thought we was gonna make it all the same.
On the deposit?
It says, the ballroom rental deposit will remain at 125, and the room rental fee remaining at $200 for all non-community. So it was 125 for this, you got Digging Bridge.
We said
No,
all
I don't
across
have,
the
I
board.
took out the resident thing.
So it's supposed to be 125.
We said all the way. I thought we agreed that.
That's what I thought, that wasn't the thing.
I'm confused. The deposit is separate from the room.
No, she said, they're saying that instead of that being 200, regardless of who it is, should be 125. Whether we're out of town or in town.
It is.
When it's stated, that's what it says.
Yeah, the minute says the room rental fee remaining at 200 for all non-community.
So you're saying we're gonna change the rental fee to 125?
Whether you're
It
non-community.
used to be 200 and 400. And you said there was no reason to charge out of people, so we left it at 200.
Okay, so that's what it is then?
Yeah, it's 125 for the deposit, 200 for the rental.
Alright, but it's for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I just, that must have been the only.
Okay, I'm sorry, who seconded that? Jeff or
I did.
Rob? Okay. All right, I'll call the roll. Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Dwayne?
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
Chris, you're up.
Okay. I'd like to talk about the financial statements first. That's this one right here. Looks like this, the most recent financial statements. Just going to point out our cash balance, cash and CDs, and that is on page 3 of 9. We have cash in the bank at $490,071, and then our CDs are below that. So total cash and CDs, $1,433,340. That does include a little bit of a credit card receivable, but that's our, everybody see that? So, okay, on page 3 of 9. Then let's move on to the general fund and look at page 5 of 9. This fiscal year to date, our general fund has a profit of $16,856. Then let's take a quick look on page 9 of 9 of the water, sewer, and garbage funds. Net income down there at the bottom on all three of them. Everybody see that? Our total water, sewer, and garbage have made $43,026 so far this year. So that's our financial statements as of October 31st. So dates are a little mixed up because our November meeting got moved to December, so I don't have the bank statements yet for November. So these are about a month old. Right here, that cash balance is. So. Okay, let's move on next to the next normal thing, the claims report. That's this one right here. That is the bills we are paying. Everybody got the claims report out? So, okay. I went here and got the bills that came in since last week and got those all paid up. So this covers more than 30 days. On page 2 of 11, let's see if there's anything out of the ordinary. Nothing out of the ordinary on page 2 of 11 on the general fund. Page 3 of 11, all normal stuff there too. That check to Jim Barnhart, I can't remember what that was. Oh, that's right, yeah, okay. I just didn't. Page 4 of 11, all normal stuff on that too. Then page 5 of 11, normal stuff there too. That concludes the general fund. Okay, page 6, motor fuel tax fund. We don't pay bills out of this fund very often, but we have some big check to IMCO for some culverts and a couple checks to a couple bills to the engineering fund. Okay, page 7 of 11 rather, the water fund. It's on page 7 and 8, all looks normal stuff. Our water bill was $5,300 for Rim Lake. So, there's 2 to Jerome Kopak because I got his other bill that would normally been paid in December meeting. So, and probably normal stuff on the sewer funds on page 9, normal stuff. And the last page on page 11 is the garbage fund, just one Czech Republic. So that concludes numbers 6 and 7 down to the bottom are what's called the government-wide financial statements. They use the same principles of accounting that a business uses. The governmental activities column on page 6 is for the general fund, everything but the water, sewer, and garbage, and business type of water, sewer, and garbage. So our assets altogether were $3,198,848. Then our liabilities, we had a loan on the fire department and then some bonds here. Liabilities, $341,567. That's on page 6. Page 7 is real complicated to understand. Third line from the bottom is a profit and loss. The governmental funds made $58,523. Business type $143,430. Total profit of $201,953. And then page 8 starts a second set of financial statements using a different basis of accounting. These reports have actually 3 financial statements in them using 3 different bases of accounting. Page 8 is the governmental funds on what's called a modified accrual basis of accounting. So you got a column for the general motor fuel and then the non-major funds. So it shows our assets at $906,515, our liabilities, and the difference between the 2 is fund balances. Skip page 9, and on page 10 is a profit and loss on our governmental funds. Third line from the bottom, the general fund made $57,758, motor fuel tax $10,681, and the non-major funds $10,891. Non-major, governmental accounting standards board sets out criteria for what determines what's a major fund and non-major fund. If a fund is so big, it has so much in assets, so much in liabilities compared to the other funds, and so much in revenue and expenses, it gets classified as a major fund, gets its own column. The non-major funds are the small funds, they get aggregated into a smaller column in these reports. I have an Excel worksheet that I input the figures, and it tells me what's a major fund and non-major fund. There's criteria, it's like 5% of the total and 10% of the total. So that's what that is.
So it's not like it's fire or...
No, there's several major funds. I'll point those out, non-major funds, I'll point those out in a second. So since you asked. Okay, we'll skip page 11, the page numbered 11, go on to page 12 and 13 is the balance sheet and profit and loss on the water, sewer, and garbage funds. On page 12, the assets of the water, sewer, and garbage were $1.7 million. And then the liabilities are there. We talked about the sewer bonds. And then page 13 is the third line from the bottom, changing that position is the profit, the net income on the water, sewer, and garbage funds. Okay, and we'll move all the way back to, I'm going to skip the rest of this. There's a bunch of notes to financial statements, real exciting stuff. And go back to the page number 32, very close to the back of the report, and you'll see all those non-major fund financial statements for the small funds we have here. The balance sheet is on page 32, 33, and 34, and then the profit loss on those are on page 35, 36, and 37. Yeah, on those, what those are is our tax levy, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Actually, I didn't to mention this. We levy taxes for certain purposes. And like in our levy we're going to talk about, we levy taxes for fire protection, police protection. We don't get near enough of these levy components to pay for all those services. We only get $5,000 for fire, $5,000 for police. But I have the position that each levy item needs its own special revenue fund. They shouldn't be aggregated to the general. Other people may have a different position. I've questioned other accountants through the years. Just questioned some accountants from KEB. They're a big CPA firm on Monday or Tuesday, and they didn't have any clear guidance. But that's my position, that each levy item needs its own special revenue fund to show that we receive the money for those purposes and use it for those purposes. So, anyway, so that's our report. This is out our auditors. I dropped all the stuff off to them, and they are working on it. So, okay. Mayor, can we move on to the tax levy and get that out of the way? Yeah. This is our tax levy right here. It's 3 pages.
Tell her I'll fix it after the meeting.
We only get just under 3% increase from last year. Franklin County is something called a PTEL County, which stands for Property Tax Extension Limitation Law. It limits how much we can raise our taxes by the lesser of the rate of inflation of 5%. So the Illinois Department of Revenue puts out an inflation rate every year, and it's 2.9 or 2.99% for this year. So I increased it by just under 3% from last year. So just a cost of living adjustment for the village, so it's $53,250 on page 2 there. So we just need Mayor, somebody needs to make a motion to approve this, or if they want to change it, I can change it right here. I have my laptop with me.
It says ESBA.
Emergency Services Disaster Assistance. That's just a levy line item. When these years ago, long before me, when these governments were formed, at some point there was a referendum on the ballot asking the voters to vote these levy items in, and that was part of it. Different governments have different levy items, so if you go over to Christopher, you're going to see some different levy items on their levy than we would here. So that is ESBA is used for storm sirens and emergency services. What I do on the financial statements, I'll charge storm siren maintenance and the power bill to the storm siren, which we don't have here. I think it's just part of the fire department. I'll charge that to that. So like when Novacom comes out and inspects that, I'll charge that to that fund. So
What was last year's total?
Last year's total was, look at that real quick. Just a second here. There we go. Last year was 51,700. So I moved some of the components around to try to move some more money up to corporate. That's where you want to always levy the most you can. You can do anything with that money. These other items like fire, police, audit, you can only, go and pay for fire protection out of that money.
Was the new payments to the new dispatch center coming from that?
No, what I do through the year, and the claims reports you all see, is I just charge like stuff for the fire and police and audit, all to the general fund, and when I do the annual report, I go back, to make for simplicity purposes, I do it that way. Then when I do this book here, I go back and look at some of those expenses and charge it for those levy items and try to zero them out at that point, so. They haven't issued a monthly bill for, services there yet, so.
You know how much it'll be?
They haven't, no, I haven't heard.
Just curious. I'll make a motion to accept this.
Who made the motion?
I'll make a motion.
I second it,
Okay, I'll call the roll. Kelly?
yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Dwayne?
Yes.
So which vote on this?
I don't
Who said
know.
no? Only a tie.
And a tie. Yeah.
All right, motion carried. And then we need to back up and vote on the claims.
Oh, yeah.
We need a motion for the claims report.
I'll second it.
All right, Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Dwayne? All right, motion carried.
Okay. I want to be here doing some work here while you all have your meeting. If there's any more financial questions, just call or come and get me. I'll be right down there.
Okay, next up, Mary's report to correspondence. I don't have a lot this month to go over. The only thing I'm gonna go over, and this isn't meant to be anything necessarily bad or anything like that, but, we had, the Women's Club redid our bulletin board at the post office. We talked about that. She brought it up in the meeting, if they could do it. Nobody had a problem with it, we voted yes for it. And the question I have though is, our charge account was used for glue, and I have a check here for $93 for the project. Did anybody approve this, or where did that come from? You know what happened, Sue? You can speak on it if you like, because I didn't personally authorize anybody using our charge accounts at stores or sending me a bill for something I know we paid.
I believe Gina told us
That's
to go
her,
ahead and do
that's
that.
her credit card.
Huh? That's not the facilities credit
I
card.
have a $93 check written to Cedar Swing on it, sending me a bill.
That's her credit card.
It's her credit card.
Yeah, it's my credit card, but I paid for it. And tell them what you just said.
Gina said to go ahead and do
You
it.
guys said the women's club was gonna
Yeah, we did.
fix it.
Of course, it didn't last because it's the court board.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the $93 is the court.
That goes to Sue.
Right, but
And
he's
that's the
saying,
biggest
he's
expense.
saying you're gonna fix it, but he didn't say the city was paying for it.
Well, I'll pay for it. I thought Gina,
Yeah.
I thought
I don't know
Gina told,
authorization. The mayor has to authorize.
she said that her and, Jay was gonna do it.
And you said we would.
Yeah, I
do
said
it.
I was gonna have Jay fix it. I was
Well,
gonna have Jay
Jay
tack
did
bill.
it.
No,
Well,
she said
we
that-
did it. Somebody's gotta pay for it.
That night she said that you and Jay were gonna do it, said you guys go ahead and do it. So,
I didn't say you volunteered.
well, I know, but then.
You guys come to the meeting and said you guys wanted to fix it.
I know, but then later you said that you and Jay were going to do it. But for us to go ahead and do it. You and Jay had planned to do it, but you said, you guys go ahead and do it. You didn't say that at the meeting, but you told us that. You did, Gene. And, so, but anyway, forget it, I'll pay for it.
I'll talk to you after this, okay? I just wanted to bring it up to see if anybody approved it with the bills because.
No, because she said that they were going to do it, and for us to go ahead and do it, I thought that it was okay with the board, because she said.
I didn't tell you to go ahead and do it. I told you, Jay, at that meeting, you and Jay, I said, when you guys volunteered to do it, I said, I was just gonna have Jay tack in the old court boards, like state, mail them in or whatever, because they were
But
coming
you said,
on. And you guys come to the meeting and said, you, as a women's club, you guys wanted to do it.
You gotta do this for the fire and police. You gotta do that one.
The fire department did do that. Zero. Nothing happened. Good month.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't there a call last night or the night before though, I think?
They got a call last night.
To roll over on Lincoln Street?
they don't have anything.
Oh, he did. Water and sewer, I don't have anything necessarily, streets and alleys, have to recommendations. The only thing, water and sewer kind of with this city maintenance stuff, this is something that just happened as of today. I got a call this morning, heaters were out in the maintenance building. I mean, I'll put it to you this way, I was at work and it was handled. They called and asked me a couple questions, Lisa reached out. Jay was still there a little bit after 5 with the tech. We got everything fixed, all TV selling. It was $521.17 charge, and the guy did apologize because I told him before you did anything, please call me so I can make sure I'm the amount. He went ahead and fixed it. It's within my range to do that with a $1,000 budget, so, but that wasn't my intentions to start with, so everybody knows. I told him to reach out to me before we proceeded, but one heater has been out all year, the other one just went out, they had no heat to make this building. There's sewer and water lines in there, and other stuff that needs to be temperature regulated, so we'll be getting that built for the next meeting. But at the end of the day, it was fixed, same day.
Foods?
Yes.
Is that how you use
Yeah.
it? Well, you said it had to be fixed,
Yeah.
so.
Has anybody got anything else for committee reports?
No, other than, Mr. Barnhart got the fire department letter done, he's been paid. The others are doing good.
Okay, and lastly, for the committee reports, I have, Mr. Carvin turned in a report, everybody should have them, if you don't, let me know. There was 9 different occurrences that he handled. They are pretty specific, so I'm not gonna mention them out loud because there are names and addresses, but he's doing his due diligence. And if anybody's got any questions about this, he is available. I told him I'd reach out to him tomorrow if we have anything for him. But everybody can see he's been doing some work. And that's all I have. If someone wants to make a motion to accept the committee reports or discuss more about it.
Make a motion.
Call the roll. Kelly? Yes. Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Wayne?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, moving on to old business. First up, Mr. Farmer.
Let me ask you this, I signed up for public comments, can I combine the two?
Let's keep the first one to the Miners Hall Monument and public comments will follow at the end of all this.
Okay, we'll do it that way. Well, in that case, I withdraw my proposal for the Miners Monument for reasons as tainted, especially after my discussion with you. I think we've got a serious problem here. I will reintroduce that proposal, and I'll also add to that a Veterans Memorial, and I will be asking for, in fact, I'll go ahead and ask now. You know where the sidewalk is to the memorial. To the right side, there's a flagpole, and to the left side, there's another flagpole. There's spaces in between. I would like for you to give me permission to put a miners memorial on the right side. The same statement, it's everything identical to what we talked about. On the left side, the Veterans Memorial. The Veterans Memorial will say, in memory of the Valier residents and the Valier Community High School alumni who served in the military. Some sacrificed greatly and bore emotional and physical scars throughout their lives. Others were spared the horrors of war. Yet all shared one thing in common, a willingness to serve and do whatever is necessary to preserve our nation. For this, we offer our deepest thanks and gratitude. May God bless. I'd like to have permission to put that memorial over to the left side, next to the flagpole, which would be the American flag. And then I have another proposal.
Is that in place of this or in addition to?
This is an addition. In other words, we're up in the ante now.
Okay. But we're okay to present this as a miners memorial and vote on it today. And then we'll put.
Well, no, I've withdrawn everything because the thing is tainted. Yes. In other words, this is a brand new proposal, proposing two memorials and the permission to place those memorials there. And then I have another proposal after that, so I'd like you to vote on that.
Well, any new proposals we wouldn't vote on today.
I realize that, but I can make the new proposal.
Okay, go ahead while you're going there.
Okay, and the new proposal will be for the Board of Faithful, it'll be $26,000 some odd. And when you discuss that, and I hope you don't discuss it again in executive session, I think it's quite obvious after our discussion where you refused to answer the questions. It was an executive session that you talked about the memorial. What you should have said is, no, we didn't talk about an executive session.
Okay, so let's keep it on point here.
It is on point. I'm talking about the Veterans
Hold on a
Memorial.
second. I'm allowing you a little discretion here to throw a new proposal in, in addition to your public comments surrounding upon your miners hall proposal.
What
you
miners hall
wanted to-
proposal?
Hold on a second. Your miners hall proposal, you said you're pulling off the table. That moves
No.
on to the next topic.
I didn't
on our
say the
agenda.
miners hall proposal, I said the monument, memorial,
Miners memorial.
not the miners
Okay,
hall.
so that one's, we're not doing. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull that off the agenda.
That's good.
And I'm gonna move on to our next point of business, and if you wanna talk more public comments, we do so.
I can't make a proposal here to,
And you can do it in public comments, because.
no, I've got, I can make a proposal
Let me know
here.
how you wanna run my meeting.
I'll wait for public comments.
Okay, thank you.
You're in a lot of trouble, and you don't even know.
All right, so he is withdrawing his miners hall, or miners memorial. You don't have to vote on that. Move on, next is ordinance 25-468, take action on stop signs to be installed. And I think there's a proposal somewhere. Is anybody, who did that?
Yeah. That was from February.
On the back of the second page is the changes, streets.
It was in,
Additional signs and the changes in the way it was originally. This has to be put in ordinance form, so, and the attorney will have to draft it. So, we need to pinpoint what you want before we send it to the attorney. Because that's just gonna cost us money.
Putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new stop signs on the proposal. So who did this anyway?
Did what?
The handwriting on this for the proposal for the traffic control devices.
I wrote the handwriting on the map.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions?
So you know where the new signs were going.
Any questions, concerns, or anything about placeholders? Because we'll have to put in the ordinance and vote on it next meeting.
Because Marshall mentioned, and I think Dale mentioned, they wanted stop signs on the north end of town, like we have on the south end, so. Because I was already to send it, and then,
You want new stop signs there on the overhead bridge, making that four-way stop?
Let's do this. Who wants to spearhead this and have it ready for next meeting? And we can take charge of this and make a decision, put it on paper, and we'll vote on it next meeting.
Let's see if I can get it done.
Okay. So we'll table this till next meeting, hopefully it's in ordinance form, and Dwayne will make sure it gets taken care of.
you can't get an ordinance for it until you decide what you want in the ordinance.
And he will present that to you so you can have an ordinance drawn up by next meeting.
Okay.
But I didn't do any of this, I don't know anything about it, I don't know who's putting it up there, so have it done for next meeting and we'll vote on it. All right, moving on to new business. So, take action on Burns Locksmith quote for entry doors at Village Hall. If everybody wants to look, we've got a Burns Lock quote. What it is, our front doors. Our front doors have key locks on the inside, which is a fire hazard. So this quote is basically for switching out the inside locks to thumb locks that can be turned by hand and not having to utilize a key. It is a fire hazard, it's a danger, it's something that's supposed to get done. I just called the guy that does our normal locks, and that was the quote for $133 to switch my lock.
I think that's a very reasonable quote.
Yeah, he's taking care of it.
Something has to be done. I'll make a motion that Vernon do that. Second.
Call the roll. Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Dale?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Dwayne?
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
All right, last topic of new business. Take action on setting Blair Alumni Picnic and Barbecue on Friday, June 12th. This Saturday, June the 13th, 2026.
Yeah, that was when we wanna have our alumni meeting, and, since it's a Valier alumni meeting, I don't think it should be charged.
Is it in here? Or is it in the,
The first day will be in the park.
yeah.
And we'll need the under the pavilion, and we'll need the doors unlocked. And that, yes, yes.
Let's see what's going on with that.
And the second day, we would be in here.
Is that a whole day? Is it in today or down?
Friday evening to Saturday, late afternoon, yeah.
I think so, I'm not sure exactly the time.
So what parties are outside of the Saturday,
Yes.
Maxine, isn't that right?
The picnic
Usually
is
Friday evening.
Friday afternoon late into the evening, and then about 2 o'clock on, yes, on Saturday, and it usually goes late.
I worked with.
Is the Friday thing like
Yes.
this? 5:36?
We're counting on it.
Friday day usually starts what,
They got
5?
18.
What?
I'll just go 5. Oops. So do we have a motion to let the one night use the building?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I'd like to bring up something before we, since we're.
All right, I'll call the roll.
Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And Dwayne?
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
We cannot say for sure who did it, but Lisa and Jay spent how long? When they came to set this room up and had to get these tables back out, there was black all over these tables. That to compare, if you would take a bicycle tire, they had to get Ajax and scrub and still couldn't get it off. There's still some left on, we were still Ajax on the tables. And they had to pour bleach on them, like bleach set. She said it looked like somebody had ridden a bicycle on them. She said it wasn't bicycle rubber, but that's what it looked like. So the tables were put, whoever used them, whether it was when they were outside, or if somebody used them in here. So when they got the tables back out, put them up. She was down here, and Jay had to go back to work, and she was down here scrubbing tables until she could get these clean, to put back up. Brings me up.
I will go backwards on where they were used and find out. That's news to me. Nobody's told me anything, so
Is that the fall festival you're talking about?
That's one of them.
I don't know.
And since then,
I will find out and address it.
yeah, it's a foot crazy. And she tried to get the Ajax feeling off, but she's done the best she can. And then she had to put 3 back in because there's stuff back and forth from the Ajax. That's a lot of work on her, not her job.
Do we got pictures of how dirty they were?
No, but, and she wished she would take, would you like to see the black that's still on here?
No, I'm just asking if there are pre-pictures.
At the time, that was her last concern.
That was my first concern, to know that it was there, so you could
Well,
prove
it
it.
was just her and Jay, so.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't come down here just for the hell of it. Well, I sure you did.
But I wasn't the only one down here.
You are going to come down
I
here.
wasn't the only one
and you
down
guys
here
are going to
cleaning
present a
either.
problem
There
that
was a
has
problem.
happened, and say that it's, you're
There's a
taken
big
care
problem.
of.
Why can't we just clean tables ourselves, okay? Why does it have to be in a whole?
Because it's always an argument.
Okay.
Let's just
Boys
move
and
on.
men.
Thank you for cleaning it. Let's please just keep up after ourselves.
We'll find out who did it and I'll address it. If there's security deposit, we can work on that, I don't know. Public comments. Mr. Minor, you're up again.
Yeah, I would,
Farmer, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thinking that miner's hall.
it's not the Miners Hall, it's the Miners Memorial.
Keep getting mixed up.
Yeah, the Miners Hall Memorial, the city's, that's not the city's property.
I
Someone else
realize
owns that.
Well, anyway, let me just say this. If you look at me close, I'm not a 22-year-old kid, okay? I've been around the horn a little bit. You know, I have sat in conservatively well over 200 board meetings as an elected official and as an appointed official and as an observer. And I've seen some outstanding boards in my life, and I've seen some lousy boards, and I've seen some in between. A year and a half ago, I came here with the idea to present the school memorial. And I walked in there and I met the mayor for the first time, asked him how much time I had. He said, "You can take as long as you want." Went in there, I was really impressed. The chairs were in there like this. This is an impressive board meeting, board meeting. Had a lot of attendance. And anyway, he went through the things, and the longer I sat there, the more impressed I got. And it became my turn, and I made my presentation. And it was obvious some people in the audience wanted to say something. Well, the mayor opened it up for comment. And I just couldn't believe the harmony everybody experienced there. And I drove home that night, and I thought to myself, you know, that's one of the best boards that I have ever attended, board meetings. Those guys are really on the ball. And I'd have to give that board an A+. I was really impressed. And I said to myself, well, this is worth it. I'm glad I did that. Well, I've been to this 3 meetings, and it gets ridiculous. I'd have to give this board an F, really, maybe an F-. Just how stupid can it get? At the one board meeting, it was required that Sue and I, after we completed the memorial, was to hand it over to the school, to the city council, which was the city. We did that. Sue worked her fatty off, raised $25,000. How she did it, I don't know. Didn't charge the board a thing, or anybody a thing. Didn't charge the fund a thing. So we gave the city council a gift that evening of $55,000. And you know, you guys didn't even grunt. There wasn't even a thank you. Now you don't have to stroke my back or anything, but this is a matter of etiquette. Some of those 5 or 6 year old, if his grandmother gave him a pair of socks for Christmas, he wouldn't like it because he wants a toy, but he'd have at least enough sense to say thank you. Then I proposed the miners' memorial. That was met with silence. So it became quite obvious to me that you folks aren't interested in these memorials. I went to the maid right after that, and all the way home I kept saying to myself, you know what? Oh, I bet. Well, after I got through maid right, I came back to school here because people were here. You were in executive session. And I waited around a few minutes, and I thought, well, I've been in a lot of executive sessions. This is going to last a long time. So I just went on home. And on the way home, I thought, you know, I'll bet a nickel against $100 that those guys were in executive session discussing the memorial. Well, I came to the next board meeting. It would have been canceled. I was on the agenda. Nobody bothered to call me. That's a 150-mile round trip. I mentioned it to a couple people. Not one apology. I can understand people making mistakes. They make mistakes all the time. Somebody should have said, my God, Ted, we're sorry. Not apology work. All I got is we're going to reschedule it. Well, I confronted the mayor about this meeting, discussing this in executive session, and he gave me some silly answer. I don't even remember what he said. I asked him again. I said, I want an yes or no answer. Did you discuss the memorial in the executive session? And he refused to answer again. I asked him the 3rd time. So to me, it's quite obvious that you discussed that memorial in the executive session. There's no question about it in my mind. I mean, I wouldn't have had all the stupid answers. So anyway, what you should have said is no. You shouldn't have discussed it. What you really should have said is absolutely not. Ted, you realize that if we had discussed that in the executive session, we would have been violating the Open Meeting Act, and that's a Class C misdemeanor, and we would have subjected everybody here to a $1,500 fine, up to a $1,500 fine, and 30 days in jail. Now, this is the kind of crap that I'm hearing here. This is just the beginning of it. So I'm going to ask you one more time. You can fess up, or I'm going to take this to the wall, and that means the Attorney General's office. Or I can forget about it right now, and we can just have a little powwow, and this will all be forgotten. My question is to you, one more time, did you discuss that in the executive session? Yes or no?
Is that a question for the board? Or
no, that's a question for you. I'm on your case.
My answer to that is executive session is just that. It's a confidential matter, and we're not going to...
See, that is so stupid. You don't even understand your rule. You have to...
No votes are cast in executive session. I'm not going to discuss anything.
No, I just asked you, was it discussed?
That would be me divulging information from confidential meeting.
That it's BS and you know it, or you don't know it.
I appreciate your comment.
Okay, well, I'll be, well, you.
Next up is Melinda Hancock under public comment.
Yeah, I just have a question about the police hiring. A few months ago, there were candidates for police to be hired, but for some reason we had to move it to executive session. Is there any reason that we can't do that where the rest of the public could see, since the police would be policing us? Is there a reason that we can't see these people?
No decision was necessarily made, but we did that because it had to do with information about the people that were potentially candidates and wages and all that stuff, so it was chose by board members to move it to executive session.
Okay, well, I just wondered, because we did other hiring just out here in the public, so I just wondered if there was a reason we couldn't know, because that was like 3 months ago, so I figured it would like come out later, but still haven't heard anything about it.
It's in the making.
Okay.
I have been going back and forth between potential candidates. Down the line of a couple of new ones possibly, but we'll work on getting the minutes for that release because it's none of it necessarily applies anymore. Once that happens, I think both of your issues will be resolved.
Thank you.
Now, that being said, unfortunately, and following up to this one, I need to make a motion to move to executive session.
For what reason?
Basically, we need to discuss a proposal for compensation and time off for a city employee. It's not something we discuss publicly until we make an agreement that we can vote on.
I'll second the motion.
Who made the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I thank everybody for coming, but we're gonna relocate and adjourn it after our executive session.
Hey, George, are the chairs going to be left in here, or the tables going to be left in here?
Yeah, we won't move anything.
Okay, so when we have our craft show, then do we bring just like it is now, or how do we do it?
Put the chairs back like this.
Preferably, but I mean, I can always come back and set that.
Well, I don't expect you to, but I just didn't know.
George, I feel sorry for you, I really did.